We're going to make desserts landscape. Here's the checklist. The foreground has to have at least 2 large items. The middle ground has to have at least 3 medium-sized items, and the background has to have at least 5 small items. Show a variety of different items. They should not all be the same. Have some soft serve, some in a dish, some on a stick. Okay, here's some examples of drawings that we did before. We did this previously. And we're going to use these drawings, these little sketches, to make our picture, our landscape. But this is just a sketch even of the actual picture. It's just practice here. So the foreground has to have at least 2 large items. So I'm going to get 2 large desserts. And I think I'll start by drawing ice cream bar on a stick. And I'm going to make it 2-dimensional by making the sideshow there. And draw little squares everywhere. Little nuts or sprinkles, whatever you want to think of it as. So I'm drawing very large here. I think I'll draw a dessert next to it. There's a dish, and there's my Jello. So this here is in the middle ground, and it's smaller. It's a popsicle, but it is about half the size as the items in the foreground. And I have to draw at least 3. So there's 2 items in the middle ground. So in the foreground, I have large items, in the middle, medium items. Now, in the background, let me just draw one more medium item in the middle ground. Now in the very, very far background at the top of the page, we call that the background in this case. And you can see how the items in the background are much smaller. I'll draw this cupcake, but it's going to be much smaller. Now I'm going to draw the land. This is a landscape, so this is sort of an imaginary landscape because there are these giant deserts everywhere. And I'm just making kind of a mountainous terrain. So that's the mountains, and then here's another mountain. So in the background there's another small ice cream. Here's a soft serve. And I need at least 5 small items in the background, so here's the 5th small item. And the ice cream cone balancing on the top of a mountain. Now I feel like I want some little gumdrops in the foreground. I'm going to erase those lines. Put some little sugar sprinkles for texture. Maybe my ice cream has a little bit of dots in it, chocolate chips or something. And here's another example of a landscape I did, very similar. So to recap, the desserts landscape checklist, you need at least 2 large items in the foreground. The middle ground should have 3 medium items, and the background has at least 5 small items. Show variety, and color the small items light and large items darker.